The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
710 KNUS, 710KNUS.com. Please say good morning, say Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year to the one and only Dr. Jerry Corsi. Dr. Corsi, good morning.
Peter, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
You too.
To you and to your audience, by the way. It's a great time of year.
I get to say this to people like you, Robert Spencer, so many others. I don't know what I would have done without you in this fight for whomever Barack Obama really is. You've been a stalwart, you've been tough, you've done the work, you've done the heavy lifting, and you've taken the shots. And so all of those things having said, now we come to this, although we knew about this guy because he lived in China, but now he is speaking out. Dr. Corsi, of course, a Harvard PhD, has written extensively about who Barack Obama may or may not be. He certainly isn't who the life story says him to be. You go to our website, 710KNUS.com, and there's a picture of the half-brother. And according to Dr. Corsi, and I'm just going to turn it over to him to speak, he's 48, and he is the son, he says, of Barack Obama and his, quote, third wife. Is that fair enough, Doctor?
That's fair. That's exactly the case. His name is Ned Asanjo. This brother, half-brother of Barack Obama, lives in China. And what really got international attention last week, and it was published in London, it was published all around the world, was that this half-brother of Barack Obama, Asanjo Obama, from China, has published a brand new book. It'll be out in the United States called Cultures, My Odyssey of Self-Discovery. It'll be out in February in the United States. And the book says that Barack Obama, the president, his half-brother, is lying about his past, that what stories that were told and incidents that were created in the autobiography Dreams for My Father that Barack Obama published in 2008. It was a republication of the book, and it helped Obama to really gain prominence on the rise to power and the run for presidency. This was supposedly a brilliant autobiography and really captured a whole complex issue of race. Well, what Asanjo is saying is that his brother Barack Obama lied, made things up. It isn't true. It didn't happen. It's all fictional. This isn't who Barack Obama is. And the book is explosive because of that, because it follows in a lot of analysis that I've done. Others, Jack Cashill has done a great deal here, saying that Bill Ayers, the Weather Underground bomber, was really the author of the book. And Ayers keeps toying with the idea that he did write the book. He toys with admitting that. And, this Asanjo is going to go on a speaking tour. He will be representing the book, and starting in February, I think it'll be more news in the United States that Barack Obama's autobiographical story as told in Dreams is largely fictional, written for political purpose and gain, not really conveying the truth.
Now, I've already started to make my bets on whether or not Brian Williams will have this as a story, whether the Denver Post will run it as a story, whether the New York Times will do it, whether the Today Show will do it. What's your guess?
Well, of course not.
Yeah.
This brother will come in and find out, like many of the others who tried to tell the truth about Obama, Asanjo is going to get shut out in the U.S. media because the New York Times and the others want to circle the wagon around Barack Obama and protect the mythology, the lies that are told. I mean, fundamentally, we don't really know who Barack Obama is. And this is coming on the heels of, what kind of makes this new book that's coming out by the half-brothers so impactful is that it's right after a different half-brother. This is the Omar Onyango Obama, who's been living illegally in Boston for 40 years, went to a immigration court hearing about 3 weeks ago, and also said that, for this, the lie here was that Onyango, Uncle Omar, said to the court that Barack Obama, when he was in Harvard, coming to Harvard as a law student, had stayed in his apartment. And back when this was first said, back Obama really running for office, 2008, again 2012, the White House was denying this. The White House was saying that Barack Obama did not know this Omar. This Omar has been in trouble on and off. He's had difficulty working. Government's been trying to deport him for years, 40 years. He had a traffic accident. He was drunk driving out by Framingham, I believe, in Massachusetts, and made the news and claimed he knew his brother, wanted to call Barack Obama in the White House. And, of course, the White House said they don't know anything about this guy. And Obama, the president, basically denied that he knew this Omar. Well, it turns out the White House did admit, oh, yes, Barack Obama did stay with Uncle Omar for maybe, they said maybe 3 weeks, sometime before he actually started Harvard Law School when he was coming into Cambridge the first time. So it's again clear that Obama's told lies about his family and lies about his history when it's politically convenient for Obama to tell lies and to fabricate, which, of course, is not what we expect of our political figures, of our presidents. The standard of, who are these guys or women, I think is a legitimate question the American people have always asked about presidents, and it's pretty shocking to find out that somebody in the White House, now from two half-brothers, Barack Obama's half-brothers, are saying that he lied about his history and are trying to come forward and set the record correct.
One of the things that strikes me is, of course, the official story of mother and father is they were married and they lived together. Yet here we know that Barack Sr., who goes to Harvard, meets this woman at Harvard, and she goes back to Africa with Barack Obama, and they were married in Kenya on Christmas Eve of 1964.
Right.
So, but if he already has what had been described, and this is not a statement, this is more of a description, his detractors, Senior's detractors, said he had what was called in Africa at the time a bushwife, meaning he was married in his village, his town village, where he was the goat herder, right? So,
well, in fact, that's right. In fact, Omar Onyango Obama, who's in Boston, comes from the first wife,
yes,
the African wife that Barack Obama Sr., the Kenyan, abandoned about 1957 when he went to Hawaii to go to the University of Hawaii. That's where he met Ann Dunham, who was the second wife, who's supposedly the
but they're not married.
Mother-father. Well, again, that looks like it's a fiction. There's no marriage certificate ever been found, and the Immigration Service at the time doubted that Obama Sr., the Kenyan, was the father. That's on the public record. Mm-hmm. And this new brother who's shown up, this Sanjo, who is in China, is a product of the wife that Barack Obama acquired at Harvard after he abandoned Ann Dunham.
Right.
So we got two wives. We got the wife in Kenya, the wife supposedly in Hawaii. This woman whose name was either Ruth Baker or Ruth Niedersand. There's even some doubt about what her name really originally was.
In what has been written, he calls her Baker, right? And
Baker, yeah.
And
it was actually one of the autobiographies, or one of the biographies that came out later. She was always called Niedersand, and then this Baker entered in, and I haven't figured out. No one seems to really know why. It's one of the other mysteries about Obama's background. Anyway, this woman, Ruth, who is Jewish, a white woman in Boston, fell in love with Barack Obama Sr., the Kenyan, and followed him to Africa, where he agreed about a year later, after going back to Africa, to marry her. And this Mark in China, who's written the new book, is a product of that marriage. So that's why they're half-brothers, because the Omar is a product of the Kenyan wife, and this Nisanjo in China writing the new book is a product of the white wife, the Ruth, the Jewish woman that followed Obama back from Harvard and married him in Kenya. And she had two sons by Barack Obama Sr.
So when he goes, she marries him in Kenya in 1964,
yes,
but then divorces him in Kenya.
Yes, and divorces him and takes on this is where the new name Ndesanjo, Nisanjo, which again is someone I don't know. We have tried to research him. He's a Kenyan, and so probably taking on another Kenyan as her second wife, Ruth's second wife, after she divorces Barack Obama Sr., the Kenyan, who's supposedly Barack Obama's father. And the long story there, and the Sanjo also has been relating it, is that the Kenyan, the Barack Obama Sr., was an alcoholic. He was abusive. He beat the mother.
Died in a car wreck.
He died in a car wreck. It was one of multiple car wrecks. He'd lost a leg in a car wreck. I mean, he was constantly, he had jobs in Kenya, the father, the Kenyan, the Obama senior, as a minor bureaucrat. He was out of favor, and he would drive his Mercedes into Nairobi, and they would drink after work, and then he'd try to drive home drunk and have car accidents, and one of them killed him.
Dr. Jerry Corsi is with us. Our website, 710knus.com, has the picture now of this new, well, we knew this guy existed, but
he's now writing books. See, this is the big, this new book, which he's self-publishing. His book, Cultures, is called. Going to be out in the bookstores in the United States in February, and it had an international kind of rollout because it got covered in London newspapers. We covered it. It was covered around the world with this book, and I think the real thunder, the blockbuster nature of this book is that Nisanjo Obama is claiming that his brother lied about his past, which validates what people like I have been writing for now since 2008, when I've been researching Obama and trying to point out to people that the documentation you can obtain about Barack Obama's life does not match the story that Barack Obama has told about his life.
Would you do this, Dr. Corsi? Let's do, by the way, it's 7 after the hour, 7:07. It is 710 KNUS, December the 26th. I'm Peter Boyles. You can go look at this guy's picture, 710knus.com. This man is the guy. And let's exchange. What is, and again, it's called best guessing because there is no evidence. There is no truth. I think when the heat got so hot that Obama and his minions dropped that birth certificate, which is a layered birth certificate. I mean, any reasonable person would say, let's see the original copy. What Barack Obama did is he sent this woman attorney. She flew the night flight and comes back with a PDF file. And on that PDF file, it says father's race, African, which is a huge mistake. And, of course, the media, I remember at the time, Mike Litwin, the columnist, and all these people, see, at last the truth. And I come back to these things, and I go, how could this at last be the truth? You can't find another birth certificate on that island that proclaims a father or a mother's race or a child's race as African. Africa, there's Anwar Sadat, and there is Nelson Mandela. Both of them are Africans on the continent, but they're years apart. They're so different racially. One's a Semite and one's a Negro. And so, but they claim African, which is the political correct way, as we always say, Jimmy down the hall when he invents that birth certificate. But Dr. Corsi, pick it up from there. What do you think the truth is?
Well,
the only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.